For the first time since the mass shootings in Lewiston, Maine, we're hearing from the family of two men who helped save lives that day, even though it cost them their own. NBC 10's Mary Marcos has the story they are finally ready to share 1 year later.
Jason Walker and Mike Deslauriers were best friends since kindergarten.
For as long as I can remember, there was Mike and Jason.
As adults, they joined a bowling league with the team name
Here for the beer. If you knew the two of them, that was a fitting name.
Jason, his wife Kathy, Mike, and his girlfriend Stacy were bowling at Just-in-Time Recreation in Lewiston, in the lane closest to the door when the shooter walked in.
She said that Jason was yelling for them to get down.
After firing the first shot, his gun jammed. That's when the two men charged, Jason around one side and Mike from behind.
What I've learned since then was that Jason tried to kick the gun out of Robert Card's hands. They both had their hands on Robert Card. They both were able to actually hands-on.
Mike's fingerprints were on the gun.
Both were shot multiple times at close range while giving others time to run away.
He was in the bowling alley for 45 seconds, and for 12 of those seconds, he was with Mike and Jason.
It was one of two stops for the gunman who caused the deadliest mass shooting Maine has ever seen.
I think it was instinctual.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it was just because it was just
who they were.
Their families didn't know where they were or if they survived until the next day.
We called everybody we could think of just to try to get any information we could about him. I remember until I saw the police car come pulling down his driveway. I remember I just had like a small slimmer of hope that maybe he made it.
The sisters' sudden loss quickly became very public.
And we were just kind of glued to the news, just trying to figure out what had happened, and in a lot of disbelief, and I was clearly in shock.
It was hard for me, like Jill said, we're protective big sisters, and it felt like we'd lost them to something else.
Now they're sharing their story, even though their brothers wouldn't want the attention.
They are both very generous and protective individuals, and but never wanting to be recognized for that.
Right.
So this is sort of the irony of all of this.
Because a final commission report found several missed opportunities to intervene.
It becomes more meaningful because they both had the courage and the bravery to finally confront Robert Card where nobody else did.
And they were unarmed.
Two middle-aged men in bowling shoes, finally stood up to him and did the right thing.
Once the cameras stopped rolling, the sisters told me that they take comfort knowing that Mike and Jason went together. They say if one of them survived, the other wouldn't be able to live with themselves. Reporting in Lewiston, Maine, Mary Marcos, NBC 10 Boston.
We have more stories of hope and healing from Lewiston ahead of tomorrow's commemoration ceremony. Coming up tomorrow at 6, we're hearing from a survivor who has been trying to heal ever since.